Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. It's finally the All-Star break, and unfortunately, the Tribe is hot, and this is the only way they'll cool themselves off. When the break is over, there's a 10-game homestand, 3 against Minnesota, 4 against Detroit, and then 3 against Kansas City. 2 weeks ago, I hoped the Indians would be about 7 games out at the break. It turns out they're just 5.5 back, 5 in the loss column. Then they'll have 3 on the road at Toronto and 4 at Kansas City. Here's a not-so-bold prediction for the Indians. I say they'll be in first place when this 17-game stretch is over. Then they will win the American League Central, going away. The D-man Dennis-Manoloff is here. Find out if he agrees or disagrees. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Monday night. It's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into our 23rd consecutive year and heading toward 24, and as always seen exclusively on cleveland.com. The D-man has slept here for the last 5 nights. You were here Thursday night. I come into the studio, you're still here. But that's not possible because you were all over WTAM today and will be again tomorrow.
It's been busy, which is good. A lot of TAM programming with Greg Brenda at Play Ball Park in Mall B or Mall C.
Right.
And it's been wild and crazy. Tons of people downtown.
Great for kids or not great for kids?
Oh, excellent for kids, as far as I can tell. I mean, I haven't heard any complaining. I don't know exactly what the prices are for doing various things, but a lot of interactive stuff, home run derby stuff, pitching machines, and for every adult, I'm seeing 2 kids, both indoors and outdoors, which is great for baseball, especially because we've heard over and over, baseball needs to cultivate a younger audience.
All right, there's a pennant race, American League Central.
Oh yeah,
5.5 games out.
The only part of your opening that I would disagree with, Les, is running away or going away. I don't know that it's going to be that. I think it'll be contested right down to the final week because I still respect the Twins lineup, even as I've seen them come back to earth a little bit, have some injuries, have some adversity, but I respect them enough to think that it's going to be a 2-horse race to the end. But I agree with you that the Indians prevail.
Right. Well, look at this. This is the record by month, March and April, and then into May, June, July, as we have it right now. Minnesota started out 17-10, goes to 21-8. Almost put the division away at that point, 10.5 games ahead of the Indians, but they're making their charge. They've knocked off 5 games from that, and they're just 5.5 games back. And their record of 50-38, while Minnesota at 56-33.
Yeah, that graphic is great. It doesn't tell the entire story, though, because as of June 3rd, the Indians were 29-30 and 11.5 back, 12 in the loss column. So it was even worse than was presented there. So for them to come back from that, when it really was, I'm not trying to use a cliche here, but I will. It was a season on the brink. It was hanging in the balance. You weren't sure, were they going to turn it around at all? And here they are.
Well, you didn't have Kluber. You didn't have Carrasco. You didn't have
Clevenger was
hurt also. And didn't have an outfield. Where they settled the outfield instead of settled the batting order was when Mercado showed up. And they toss him into the number 2 hole.
And this will tell you how hot this team is. Mercado cools. So Sunday, what does Terry Francona do? He puts Greg Allen in, who was called up just to be the cavalry for a couple of days because they're in a National League city.
Yeah, and you didn't need the pitcher batting.
So they send down Plesac to get his regular turn in the minors, and they call up Allen, and all he does is go 4 for 6 with a bomb and a spectacular catch. So that's when you know things are going well for you, when those types of moves happen.
When they're not the ball falls out of his glove, line drive is caught by somebody, but baseball, a game of momentum, and I don't care who you're playing. We'll be talking to Mike Massetta at Naturestone a little bit later. Let's also look at some other things about the first half of this season for the Cleveland Indians. You know what, they're playing so well, you almost don't want the All-Star break. You want guys to have rest, but you want this team to be out there on the field.
Yeah, that's true. We saw it. When I'm convinced that gremlins invaded the Indians' bodies the first two games of the Orioles series, now as we step back and look at those two games, that's the only explanation. Aliens took over the Indians for those two games.
All right, I got the other real explanation, which doesn't solve anything. That's baseball.
Yes, it happens to every team. You can look at every team, even the great ones, even the Yankees right now. You could look at their schedule and some of their losses and go, how'd they lose that game? But the point about the Orioles series was they were coming off of momentum, and then they had that off day. And, then they don't play well Friday, Saturday. But I choose to go with what you said, Les. It's more about the game. It's just baseball being what it is, as opposed to, well, because you have an off day or a series of off days, somehow you lose your momentum.
Otherwise, the Baltimores of the world would go 0-162. Yeah. They have to win some games somewhere along the line, right? 13-0 twice in a row is a little bit different.
Every team has off days, so you can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah. I thought the Plain Dealer had a great headline after the second 13-0 loss. The headline was, "No, you're not reading yesterday's newspaper. It's 13-0 again."
Yeah, it was just one of those things. Two of those things.
Yeah.
Two 13-0 carbon copy. But again, I said this before, Les. We may look back on that Sunday start by Shane-Bieber in Baltimore,
a beauty,
when he wins it 2-0, as not a season saver, but a potential postseason saver, because who knows what their mood is going into Kansas City if you get swept by Baltimore.
It's a great point, no question about that. By the way, just want to make one mention because Rocky Colavito called you D-Man, one of the classic moments of the show.
I'm still living off that.
One of the classic moments of the show. I've been told they had between 800 and 1,000 people there on Friday night, and I was told by everybody what a success it was and how good it was put on, and The Rock availed himself quite well, and that's good to hear.
Tremendous. Another feather in the cap for the Indians and this entire all-star production, this festival of baseball. It's just a beautiful thing.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. I'd like to get some calls and emails in as we go for the next hour with Dennis-Manoloff, the D-Man from WTAM Radio, working with Greg Brenda. And that's working out well? No punches are thrown or anything?
The Dean is
he's
a
Dean
legend.
Is the Dean.
I mean, yeah, he's a legend, and he knows what he's doing. And we had a 5-hour show today, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. out at Play Ball Park.
Well, you know what? After 3 hours, they should just put a man at second base and see if they can drive him in.
Yeah, and then exactly, great point. But people have been great out there. We've had contests and a lot of people stopping by, saying hi, and it's always fun to do the meet and greet type stuff too.
I probably should do this on a Voice of Truth and Reason thing, but I saw signs today. I drove on the periphery of downtown. $65, $70 for parking. For tonight and tomorrow. That's gouging. That shouldn't happen. Everybody wants to make our city look good. Going from a $20 night to $65 or $70 parking is shame on all those people.
I thought there were rules or laws against price gouging, that you could only take it up to a certain percentage increase before it became illegal.
Well, some people know when the parking meter police are out and not out. But I saw some $65 and $70 signs. Shame on all those people. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Shame on them unless it was me. Then that would be okay. So you say you're going on record. I went on record and said they're going to win going away. You say what? That going away is not the answer, but they will win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick to my preseason prediction that the Indians would win the division. That said, on the morning of June 3rd, when they were 29-30, I crossed division off the list. I still had them as a wild card contender because mathematically they were. But I said the division is over because the deficit is too high.
Is it too early to root against
steep.
wild card teams as they're on the schedule?
No.
It's always the time to do that?
I think, if you're an Indians fan, unless the Twins are playing them, you root against the Rangers.
Tampa Bay.
But like I said, Sunday, Rangers come through with a big win to cut it to 5.5 for Cleveland. You root for the Rangers there. But you want to see Tampa lose every single game they play. You want to see the Red Sox lose. You want to see the Rangers lose. And you want to see the Oakland Athletics lose. I think that's your 5-team, plus Cleveland.
If you're an Indians fan, not only do you want those teams to, not only do you want the Indians to win the division, all right, if you don't win that, then you want the number 1 wild card. You don't just want to make it for the one game on the road. As long as
absolutely. But just get in and listen. I've tried to tell people this. Oh, Dennis, because I've been on the radio touting the Indians. Why not? They're hot. They're 50-38. Oh, they don't look like a playoff team, and this team is flawed. And
now they do.
They don't stack up against the Yankees. Listen, the Cleveland Indians, as currently constituted budget-wise and market-wise, are never going to stack up against the Yankees. All right? Certainly this iteration of the Yankees, this group is going to be around for a while. Have you looked at their roster? These are not 40-somethings who are hanging on by a thread one more year.
No, they get some more pitching.
The Yankees are going to be good for a while. Yeah. So the Astros are young and good for a while. The Red Sox are having an off year for them. But if you think you're going to ever be even with those big spending, big market teams, you're sorely mistaken. So you have to take what you have in front of you. And right now, the Indians are 50-38 and playoff contenders.
You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. When we come back, we're going to find out what Mike is thinking. Mike Masada out of Nature Stone always has some good takes. He'll have them when we get back. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Birthdays for today. This is July 8th. The television exec, Monday Night Football, Roone Arledge, was born on this day. John David Crow. I believe he was a Heisman winner, was he not? John David Crow?
Oh, great question.
Good question. I believe
do not
he
know.
is. Jeans and tees. Good. Nobody was wearing that at Baker-Mayfield's wedding, I don't think. Jack Lambert from Manaway, Ohio. Seen on the left. Hakeem Warwick and Josh Harrison, all born on the 8th of July. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis-Manoloff, the D-Man, is with us. We'll check in with Mike Masada shortly. Let's go to him right now, in fact. That's very shortly when you say that. Let's say hi to Mike Masada out at Nature Stone. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Les. How you doing tonight?
Doing well. Mike. Yeah, I said we'd be with you shortly, and then 1 second later, I mean, that's as short as you get, I would think.
It doesn't get any shorter than that. You're right. I'm on.
Wow, it's Nature Stone. There, I got it out of the way.
Great.
All right, Mike Massetta with us. D-Man dennis-manoloff is with us. All right, I said the Indians are going to win the Central going away. D-Man thinks they'll win it, but it's going to go down to the last week. What say you?
Well, first, hey D-Man, how you doing? And long time. But I think that I agree with you, Les. I think that they're in this hot streak. I think they still have the easy part of their schedule coming out of the chute after the All-Star break. I think Minnesota's pitching is getting exposed right now. They really don't have a tremendous bullpen. But that all could change if Minnesota makes some moves and improves that bullpen. So as it stands today, I would tell you I think the Indians are going to make up that ground sooner rather than later, and you'll see them run away with the division.
Well, you got 17 games here against, you got Minnesota, you got Kansas City, Detroit, Toronto. On paper, I don't even know what Minnesota has, but it has to be tougher than what Cleveland has right now.
Yeah, and Mike, I'll say this. I thought that Sunday's results were very important. The Indians winning, of course, to extend the winning streak to 6, but the Rangers winning in Minnesota in extra innings, the 6.5 deficit for Cleveland goes to 5.5. The reason I think that's so important is because that 3-game series coming out of the break, it's not catastrophic if you lose 2 out of 3. Of course, if you're Cleveland, you don't want to. But if you lose 2 out of 3, it's not devastating. If you don't sweep, it's not devastating because you win 2 out of 3, you chop another game off, and you're at 4.5. So
right.
I think that it's there for the Indians. And then once they get through Minnesota, as you said, there's favorable matchups after that, as Les pointed out. So I like where this Indians team is. You know, to loosely quote Lou Brown, they're starting to come together. You can see it. In
Legendary manager Lou Brown.
You know, a little more of a gravel, starting to come together. But you can see it, can you not, Mike? In bits and pieces, this team is beginning to meld.
Yes. They've found their hitting groove a little bit. The young guys have come up and done real well. Man, did Greg Allen have a whale of a game the other night? But the whole team's been coming around with the bats. You kind of saw that coming at some point when Lindor came back from the injury, and even Kipnis. I mean, he's a professional hitter, and they're gonna swing the bats better. Defensively, they're very good. Their starting pitching staff is excellent, even with the injuries and the unfortunate diagnosis to Carlos Carrasco. That's just terrible. But even with all that, they still have a tremendous starting pitching staff, and their bullpen is outstanding.
You know, I would
been
say
outstanding all year.
Mike, I'll say one thing about that pitching staff. I don't think there's anybody in baseball, including the Dodgers, that could go 8 deep if they had injury problems for an extended period of time. There's no way anybody goes as deep as they go pitching-wise. No,
there's not, and I still say that there's a big trade to be made with their starting pitching staff. Because they're so deep, they have the luxury of actually trading off one of those starting pitchers that has major league experience and has shown that they can be successful in the major leagues, which adds value to any trade. They have the ability to trade one of those guys and pick up a big bat for the middle of their order, or something else, without having to add any additional pitching, and they're actually a better overall team because of it.
It sounds like you're referring to Trevor-Bauer, Mike.
I think Trevor would be the guy. But, I mean, you could even look at, I'd hate to say it, but you could look at some of the younger guys, the Biebers or the Plesacs of the world.
Please don't trade Shane-Bieber, Mike.
How about Bieber comes up like he comes up and he gets named to the All-Star team?
Yeah. Please don't trade Shane-Bieber. No.
I agree. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I agree with you 100%. I would not trade him. But you have the luxury of doing that should you want to. Bauer's the guy. You're 100% right. Bauer's the guy. He has the contract and all that stuff going on, and has pitched well recently, and has the longevity of the career, and he's still a young guy. somebody will throw a massive trade, our way for that guy that would help the team right now.
Well, the Yankees were in Cincinnati watching Bauer yesterday, and I never thought I'd say this, Mike and D-Man, that Bauer, I'd feel more comfortable with Bauer as he is now to start the opening game, whether it's a wild card game or a divisional game. I feel more confident in him than I've ever felt in him before. Before I'd say I pitch him the third game, whether that's whatever that is in the rotation, and hopefully he'll get by. Now I've got more confidence in him than anybody they've got.
I'm not going to disagree with that because we don't know what the Indians are going to get out of Kluber, Carrasco, and Clevenger's just coming back. So yeah, I hear you about Bieber's though the guy that I like the best at this moment, but yeah, I hear what you're saying about Bauer.
Hey, Mike, what did you get the Mayfields for their wedding yesterday, over the weekend?
What did I get them? I got them a Nature Stone floor, lads. We're going to put a Nature Stone garage in, and they're going to come out and say, wow, it's Nature Stone.
Excellent. All right, any final comments here as we get ready for tonight it's the Home Run Derby. And I guess Carlos is seventh ranked in this. Is that correct?
Number 7 seed. He drew Pete Alonso, which is no easy feat.
You mean the one that baseball would like to have win because he's a New York Met?
Well, he's got 30 bombs. I mean, the dude is a lumberjack, so it's going to be a tough matchup for Carlos.
All right, Mike. As always, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. You guys take care.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Mike. What's he thinking? There you see the web address for Mike Macetta, one of the great guys around, great company, Nature Stone.
Yeah, I mean, and Mike was mentioning Bauer, we did too. The more you hear the Yankees are interested, of course. It's tricky, though, because if you're the Indians and you won't take yourself seriously as a playoff team and you move Bauer, you have to get back major league sticks. Right? Because you're not moving.
And not just prospect.
You're not moving pitcher for pitcher.
No.
You need to get major league back, at least one, maybe 2 plus prospects.
But the other team will say, well, you know what? The player we're giving up may have a couple of years of control. Bauer doesn't.
Well, not only that, you got to get partnered with a team that doesn't want to part with an integral piece of its lineup.
Correct.
Why should they? Why should a contender say, well, you know what?
Well, it depends on how much you value
we're going to weaken
pitching.
our lineup in order to bring a pitcher in.
Well, it depends on how you value pitching.
Or do you have such a surplus that a guy like Clint Frazier is sitting in the minor leagues rotting?
Right. Listen, I don't mind them dealing with the Yankees. I used to hate that. I'd rather do that than deal with. They can't possibly deal with Minnesota.
Oh,
can't
no.
possibly.
Please, no. If they do, then I don't blame Indians fans for revolting. And if they go into trade mode, barring a complete collapse next week, or this weekend and next week, which I don't foresee, there's no way the Indians should be thinking anything but getting to the postseason.
All right, I expect 3 sellouts Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I need somebody to tell me if the Indians are advertising for the games this week, if they're just talking about rock and what do they call it? Rock and blast.
Rock and blast.
Or are they going to mention that it might be nice to come out and see the Minnesota Twins, the first place Minnesota Twins?
You got to.
If somebody sees an ad, let me know, or a billboard, let me know if they're promoting Minnesota or just rock and blast. I need to know. Inquiring minds need to know. Northfield Park, you need to know that's your home for live and simulcast racing. They've got live racing. You can catch the excitement of it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday evenings. Post time 6 p.m. for that. Open at noon every day for simulcast action from all over the world. And the weekly Sunday contest, top prize $500 in cash each week. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. When we come back, we'll look ahead for the Cleveland Indians. They don't have to scoreboard watch. We will. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature's Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at dennis-manoloff.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Time for a How Come Quickie. How come charging so much for toll roads is highway robbery?
Nice.
I had sticker shock. I went to Chicago over the weekend. Hadn't
Oh,
done that in a
geez,
while.
Les.
The amount of money to get from Cleveland to on the turnpike, then the tolls into Chicago. They charge $6.50 to get over the bridge
it's
going
the
into
worst.
Chicago, getting over and coming back.
One of my best buddies from college lives in Chicago. We went to Northwestern together for 2 years. I don't visit him anywhere near as much as I should.
Because of that?
Because of the expense that's required.
How do some of these people work? It costs $6.50 to get across the tollway bridge, or Skyway Bridge, to get across both ways. That's, let me see how my math is. $6.50, that's about $13, right?
And
a day?
And I promise you, not all that money is going where it's supposed to go.
Well, the opinions expressed by D-Man are those
allegedly
exclusively by D-Man, and certainly not more sports and Les-levine. Not that he's not wrong.
We kid because we care.
Not that he's not right. Because we care. Unbelievable. $6.50 each way. Then from you take it from Route 8, where I took it in Cleveland. Route 8 to get across the state of Ohio is $14.50.
And you always encounter construction.
Of course.
Somewhere. I mean,
well, at least you know the money's going
guaranteed.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stick with it. It's highway robbery.
Nice.
That's what How Come Quickies are all about. All right, we've been talking about the Indians coming out of the break. Let's actually look at it and see what the Indians have coming up. Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, July 12th through the 14th.
I see 2 out of 3.
All right, then you got the Tigers with the 4.
3 out of 4.
And the Royals.
2 out of 3. I'll be
All right, but you're winning every
series. That might even be
series.
stingy there. But yeah, that's 2, 3 is 5, 6, 7, and what is
7
that?
out of
7
10.
and 3. 7.
Yeah, 7
I
and
mean,
3.
so you know you're not losing any ground to Minnesota. In fact, you're gaining if you go 2-1 against them. And then after that, I don't know what the Twins have their next 7, but this is.
It's got to be similar.
And here's another important point, Les. It keeps coming up. I'm not trying to be Mr. Kool-Aid guy, all right? You know, at the beginning of June, I wasn't drinking the Indians Kool-Aid.
You weren't.
I was crossing them off the division.
Absolutely.
I go by what I see. And what I'm seeing is a Terry Francona team winning again, doing what Francona's teams do.
Guess what?
Yes.
We have something to support that.
What's that?
We're going to take a look at Francona before and after the All-Star break. How about this?
I mean, this is his M.O. They just,
Think
you
about
know,
that.
for whatever reason, they get moving after the break.
His first year, he's 41-26 after the break, 38-30 in 14, 39-34 in 15, 42-31, and then 55-20. Of course, that
That was the
taking
colossal
22?
disappointment when everybody had him going to the World Series and winning it.
Right. That was a 22-game winning streak, was it not?
Yes.
102-60 they finished.
And it's such an appropriate graphic by the crew. It does a tremendous job here at Classic Teleproductions. But what I wanted to say too, Les, is this. I'm tired already of hearing about, the Indians are beating up on the Cupcakes.
Everybody plays the Cupcakes.
Well, listen, In the Central Division, there are two rancid teams at the moment.
Right.
The Tigers and the Royals. That's not the Indians' fault. One of these days, the worm's going to turn. The Royals are going to be good again. The Tigers are going to be good again. The Indians are not going to be good.
The Tigers and Kansas City look like they're going to be good a long, long time from now.
Or
Chicago's on its way.
Okay, I agree. Chicago is the next good team in this division. But my point is this. When the worm turns, when the wheel turns, and the Indians are at the bottom or close to the bottom, and Francona's long gone, those teams are not going to apologize for beating the Indians.
Of course not.
It doesn't work that way.
They're major league teams.
You play the teams that are on your schedule.
Absolutely.
You don't forfeit the game because, well, we're not going to play this game because the opponent is inferior. Come on.
Facebook question of the day. What position would you like the Indians to address for the second half of the season? We're talking trade here.
Outfield to me.
Outfield, still need a
the
bat.
outfield is a lot of pieces, parts.
But look what changed when Mercado showed up.
There's no doubt about it. And I will say this, you're seeing Bowers start to come around.
He is.
So, but I still want an outfield piece.
I'm not ready to give up, or not ready to say I was wrong about Naquin. But if they pitch the guy above the waist, he can't hit it. How do they not? Every home run he has is below the waist, at the knees. That he can hit.
You would think that you would pound Naquin above the belt.
You would think. All right, so we asked you. Let's see what some of the responses. Danny Foreman, I hesitate to say this, but right now no moves would be the best option. Alan Nolt, you can never have enough pitching, especially with all the injuries the Tribe has had on the staff. Tom Ferris says starting pitcher due to the injuries and inconsistency of the starters. Get well soon, Carlos. Sean Young, one more legitimate bat needed if you're going to compete with Houston and New York in the playoffs. Gerard Morelli, they're all playing well now and have great chemistry. Stan Pat. Dave Shoup, the position in the standings needs to improve. Let's move into first place.
Very well done. Great batch.
Isn't it interesting how week to week this thing changes? What people think they need or what they should do? Nobody said Stan Pat.
But that's
before.
the nature of baseball, though.
Yeah.
It's also when a team is playing well, you're sitting there going, okay, who do you want to take out of the lineup? I'm looking at, if I'm Antonetti and Chernoff, I'm looking at an outfield piece. I think of a Jay Bruce type. I'm not saying it's Jay Bruce because he's already he was already in Philly, but a Jay Bruce type of acquisition, a rental for sure. You don't overpay, and you don't overpay on the prospect side either. You don't break the bank or the farm to get the guy, but you get a stick in here with an MLB resume.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Over the weekend, I think at the end of last week, I watched, and good for STO what they did. I watched the Game 6 of the Seattle Indians series. That was in 90.
In the Kingdom.
Was it 97, right? No, 95.
95 Game 6 is in the Kingdom.
What I totally forgot, because Randy Johnson pitched, is that Tomey didn't play one pitch. Totally forgot it. You had Espinosa playing.
That's right.
You had, I'm not sure why you had Tony Pena playing. Do you remember why?
I believe, fielded the last out. The ground ball to third, and I think he threw to Herbert Perry for the final out.
And that was the other one. Herbert Perry played first base the whole game.
Yeah, I forgot about Tomey not being in there, but that makes sense with Unit.
Yeah, but even when they went to the bullpen, they didn't put Tomey in. But it was good to remember. I'll tell you what. I also forgot that Baerga hit one out after the two-base steal by Lofton from second base. And by the way, Randy Johnson was horrible for that, the way he played it or didn't play it.
Yeah, he was sulking, and Kalov took advantage of it. One of the great plays in Indians postseason history.
But Baerga comes and hits a homer to make it, 5-1 maybe?
I thought it was 3-0 at that point. It wasn't the final 3-0 or 4-0? I thought there was a shutout.
I want to say 4-1, but you could be correct.
But listen, don't forget how impressive that 95 Seattle Mariners team was. To beat them in the ALCS was a heck of an accomplishment.
You had Martinez, you had Johnson.
A-Rod. I mean, that team was stacked. They had just gotten done beating who else? The Yankees in the division series.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis-Manoloff is with us. You can catch him on WTAM tonight. Is that correct?
No.
Oh, tomorrow again.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. out at Play Ball Park for the finale there, because obviously the All-Star game is tomorrow night.
Right.
And, today's was sort of we did a bunch of stuff, but we also talked about the Home Run Derby, which is tonight. What are they doing? Batting practice now?
Yeah, right now.
You know, and Les, I love the Derby. I do. I know you can say it's tricked up and all this. As long as kids love it, it's fine by me. And kids, all they're talking about is the Home Run Derby.
Absolutely. It's great that Carlos is in it. Voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you can't get us during the show, which is done live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, you can catch us on the Voicemail of Truth and Reason, 216-200-6650. Call anytime. We'll use the messages in a future show on More Sports and Less Levine. Coming up, Carlos Santana and the Home Run Derby. When we get back, Dennis-Manoloff with us. Bud Shaw tomorrow night, and right now, of course, you can see us exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. All you got to say is 2 words, D-Man, the decision.
Wow. Yeah, that was a stunner for sure.
That's decision 1, by the way. Were you stunned?
The way in which it was executed. Yeah, I was not. I had predicted he was going to leave, but I did not anticipate it would go the way it did and the method that it did, and that's what was shocking to me.
I actually thought he was going to leave, but when they showed the way they were going to do it in the Boys and Girls Club and the way he was dressed and everything else, I thought he was going to pull the switcheroo and say he was staying.
Les, I was on with Chuck Galletti that night. We were on live STO in the studios that are at Channel 3.
Yeah.
And later on that night, of course, Gilbert's letter comes out, and we're live on the air, and we get told by the producer that Gilbert has done this, and I said I'm not talking about anything until it's triple checked.
Well,
and
I did the same thing.
Galletti.
Did the same thing. We were doing the show on Spectrum, and I said I need more. You can't just hand me this piece of paper. You got to. Well, I didn't use the term triple checked. You're a newspaper guy. That's what it is. But I needed it cross-checked also because I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you.
It was so dumbfounding that you couldn't run with it until, and the producer's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's on the Cavs website. I'm like, okay, it's on the Cavs website.
Once it's on the Cavs website.
But I still need more.
Yeah.
And I think we did eventually relent on Cavs website and whatever else, but it was so mind-blowing what he was saying about how angry he was. Gilbert,
I had never heard the term Comic Sans till that night. Something else to add to the vocabulary.
Well, and then on the show, I said right then and there, I said, Chuck, I'm hating this note, if you want to call it a letter, note from Gilbert, because I want LeBron back later in his career. Galletti laughs at me. Callers call in, what is this guy talking about? What do you mean LeBron coming back?
Right on.
I said, I don't want to kill any chances that he comes back later in his career.
My recollection of the audience reaction is they were all totally in favor of what Gilbert did.
Oh, yeah. What we were getting back was 99 and 4400% in favor of Gilbert.
Right.
And I was trying to say, maybe, just maybe, later in his career, LeBron decides to come back for unfinished business. And sure enough, he does. And what do we find out?
And it was a factor.
What do we find out? That the letter almost killed it, as I feared it might. But thankfully, LeBron and his family decided to come back.
But also, Gilbert had to sell tickets. He had to keep his base. He had to understand who he was talking to.
And Dan Gilbert going down to Florida to meet LeBron on the plane, and I'm sure Dan Gilbert
a little bit.
sure he had to give up a lot.
Yeah,
I'm sure LeBron had a list of demands, and if you don't meet them all, I'm not coming. And so hats off to both parties for getting it done, because we got a title out of it and 4 glorious years of basketball.
Just quickly, your thoughts on what the Lakers and the Clippers and all that, what's going on in basketball? Just a quick thought.
Yeah, I mean, good for the Clippers. You know, the little brother of the Lakers finally emerges with Kawhi and Paul George.
Are they the favorite?
I think so, but don't count out LeBron's Lakers, LeBron and AD's Lakers. That's not a bad team. Everybody thinks it's just LeBron and AD, but they added Boogie Cousins. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of an eclectic mix underneath, but they're still going to be very good.
None of those 3 guys you just mentioned can go 82 games and playing 38, 40 minutes.
I think the Kawhi template has been set for the stars. They saw how Toronto treated Kawhi.
Right.
These stars are going to get time off during the season. Also, Les, don't sleep on the Utah Jazz. That team has quietly put together a heck of a team.
Okay, I don't know anybody who is a fan of the Toronto Raptors. However, would you say the average fan will say, that's all right, we got 1 good year and a title, it's okay?
I think the average fan will, yeah. And I think here's what you want to, Les, if you want to deal in reality, the reality of today's NBA, then you take your title and you're grateful for it, because that's how it's going these days. These players are in control of the league, of the association, and they're going to move when they want to move. And even if they're under contract, they're still going to move.
Well, the owners...
They're going to force their way out, whether you like it or not.
When the owners do it, they get charged with collusion. If the players do it, it's okay. That's what the NBA is all about.
Absolutely. So you take your title, Toronto, and rejoice and pray one day you get another one. But that's the way of today's NBA.
Carlos Santana getting ready with his batting practice tonight, or home run practice tonight, and he'll be in the 7th slot. And he'll be the crowd favorite, no question about that. Here's the matchups in the first round. Matt Chapman, who was just named today to the All-Star team because of an injury.
Yeah, he replaced Yelich. They dropped him into the #1 seed because they didn't want to reseed.
Right, he wouldn't be the #1 guy.
So Chapman goes from a non-participant to the #1 seed to keep the brackets intact.
Guerrero coming out of the box doing very well. Bregman versus Jock Peterson. Pete Alonso from the Mets, he goes against Carlos Santana of the Cleveland Indians. Josh Bell and Acuna getting ready in the #3 spot. Should be fun.
Yeah, I like Guerrero. I like Jock. I unfortunately like Pete Alonso. I think Santana's going to be a little too amped, a la Tommy in '97 in front of the home folks. Although home guys have won before, most notably, Bryce Harper last year. But, and the other one is, Bregman? No, Bregman was against Jock. I forgot the last one. Acuna Jr., I like him coming out of the 4th one.
216-575-0403. If you want to get in before the end of the show, you can do that. Sokolowski's University Inn had big crowds there Friday and Saturday night. So many people coming into downtown Cleveland. And Sokolowski's, with the great reputation as James Beard Foundation Award winner. Open 11 to 3 Monday through Friday and Saturday nights for dinner. Nothing better than Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn, in the same location in Tremont, with the best view of the city of Cleveland, established back in 1923 when Mike and Bernie's grandparents did it all. We're going to come back. Baker-Mayfield gets married. We'll take a look at how many people we can identify from the pictures we have, see who was there. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
What's up, everybody? Mr. Mayfield here, checking in with Mrs. Mayfield. Ooh, oh my goodness, I'm married. We're married.
Woo!
Bake.
Wow.
The man who can do no wrong.
There you go. There's the wedding party. Let's see if we can see
for him.
who's there. All right. Is that the Beckham on the left side, second row?
I believe so. Top left is Beckham.
Now next to Baker, looks like Brian Anderson.
It looks
I can't
like
imagine.
BA.
Can't imagine it's him, but it does look like him, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I think even BA would agree that it looks like him, but I hate to say it, I don't recognize anybody else. But that has to be Beckham in the upper left.
Wow.
Good for Baker.
Look at that. Look what they did. You got shoes for him. Dancing shoes from Nike. When you have so much money, you can do stupid things like that.
Wow. I mean,
not so stupid.
You know what, Les?
Good for him.
We're right in the middle of an exciting time for the Cleveland Indians, no doubt. But I've always believed you can juggle multiple balls in this town, and here come the Browns sooner than we can imagine. They're right there.
Well,
the training camp for the ages.
CBS Sports ranks the top wide receivers. Speaking of Odell-Beckham, there you have it. DeAndre Hopkins of the Texans, number 1. Odell Beckham, number 2. Julio Jones, Michael Thomas of Ohio State, and Antonio Brown, the former Steeler, going over to the Raiders.
You know what, Les? If I'm Odell, I have one goal. One number, one goal, 16. Let me play 16 games.
Right.
And once he does, if he does, the numbers will be there.
They have to be.
I mean, if he just puts down 16 and meets that goal, you will see ridiculous numbers next to his name.
No question about that. Not every game, maybe. Might have a couple of games off or no big numbers because they're going a different way because of the way the defense is handling them.
But by the end of the season, he will have stuffed the collective.
You're going to find out how freddie-kitchens and how that offense does it, and whether he continues to call the plays. Do you say by week 16 he's still calling the plays?
That's an interesting one. Boy, as good as Kitchens was at calling the plays, you would think he'd have so much on his plate, and he has a great mind in Monken. So do you really feel like you have to call the plays when Todd – it depends, I guess, on how in sync the two men are. Because if Kitchens thinks, you know what, this guy, Monken, is thinking exactly the way I am, then he'll have no problem turning it over.
I need to have my head coach there. If a guy gets injured and he goes to the sideline, the doctor says he's okay, I need him there for that. I need him there to decide, are we going to go for it on fourth down? Are we going to punt the ball away? We're going to go for it on fourth down, or we're going to kick a 52-yard field goal in the wind. That's what my coach is for. You can have an offensive coordinator and be an offensive coordinator.
That's true, but arguably, definitively, the reason that Freddie-Kitchens got the job was his offensive mind.
Absolutely. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You've got them 6 o'clock post time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Open early, though, every day for simulcast action at noon from all over the world. Weekly Sunday handicapping contest, $500 cash each week. Free admission, free parking every day. That's at Northfield Park. We're going to come back. We'll check out some emails and more, some How Come Quickies when we get back with the D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw, WKYC.com. It's an all-star game. They'll have all kinds of good stuff to talk about. And you see us live from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine. New content posted each and every day. We had this date in history. Let's look at Les's date in history. July 8, 2001. Les had a decision. Tribe trails Seattle 14-2 early in the game. Les decided to leave to beat the traffic. Tribe wins 15-14. Well, how did I know? Everybody said, how could you leave? Who knew? How many people said, yeah, we're going to come back?
Yeah.
By the way, we cheated a little on the date.
You knew that game was in August. You just were playing
we're
playing word
for the
games.
joke. All right, time for How Come Quickies, D-Man. Ready?
Can't wait.
Peggy Mayer. How come the man who invests your money is called a broker? You don't want that, right?
I'll give you 1 to 10 grades, 10 being great, 1 being bad. That's Instagrades, 7.5.
7.5 is not bad. Not bad. Mr. Gullible, how come I played hide and seek for hours because a good friend is hard to find?
8.5.
How come I'm reading a horror story in Braille and I can feel something bad is going to happen?
I'm not going
I'm
there.
not.
That's
You know,
terrible.
had I read it before, I wouldn't either. I apologize.
Disqualified.
John Patrick, the Daily Double, the inventor of the Daily Double. How come I can always tell when a movie doesn't use real dinosaurs?
You're
Let me
liking
repeat that.
a lot
Let me
more.
repeat that. How come I can always tell when a movie doesn't use real dinosaurs? No dinosaur was hurt in the production of this movie.
6.
A 6.
I wasn't happy with that.
I think he makes a comeback with this one. How come dogs think parking meters are pay toilets? Your thoughts?
8. You like the dinosaur one a lot more than I did.
No dinosaur was injured in the making of this movie. I just wondered, maybe John Patrick and Mr. Gullible can write me on a separate email and just say, at what time is the finished product ready? Do they start? I wonder, here, like tomorrow, you're on from 10 to 3, right?
Yes.
10 in the morning till 3. That's a long shift. 5
yes,
hours.
thank you. Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome. It's no big deal. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, I'm oblivious. What do I know? So, I said, when they first told me 10 to 3, I said, my math is bad. I think that's about a 3-hour shift, isn't it? So, I need John Patrick or Peggy or Mr. Gullible say, I begin the process at 10 in the morning. I have preliminary things that are out, and then I have co-writers come and check it out, and by 5 we're ready to send it.
Amen.
How about working a little bit?
Amen.
Put a couple of working hours in there. Unbelievable. All right, let me repeat for those who missed the beginning of the show. I said the Indians will be in first place at the end of this 17-game stretch, homestand and a road, 10 at home, 7 on the road against easy teams except Minnesota. And I say not only do they catch Minnesota before that 17 games over, I say they win the division running away. And running away to me means what, 5 or 6 games? That's running away in this day and age.
I'm not quite as optimistic as you, but I am bullish on the Indians. I'm seeing things, more and more things that I like. Pieces, parts starting to show life a la Jose-Ramirez. Kipnis, admittedly, though, a little swoon recently. But you're seeing guys start to do things. They're playing the way Terry Francona wants them to play. And the Indians say to themselves, the odds have got to be in our favor health-wise from now to the remainder of the year.
And by the way, they're the 3-time defending champ. Until somebody takes away from them, they're still the champ.
Yes, and the Twins have to, they haven't felt front-runner pressure in September where a team is chasing them. So how are they going to react? We don't know. They had the wild card 2 years ago, but that was a wild card. They didn't win the division, and they haven't been good for a long time other than that year. So
you still agree with me that it's more possible, 4.5 games out, more possible, or 5, what is it? 5.5 out.
Yeah.
More possible to overcome Minnesota than it is to win the wild card? Because you got several teams you got to jump over or keep away.
Yeah, if you go by the 1 team to beat versus 4 teams to beat,
that's what I mean.
But I still think that as a fallback, you want to keep your eye, as you mentioned, on Tampa, Boston, Oakland, Texas, and make sure that they lose.
One thing you got going, if you're rooting against Tampa Bay and Boston, you got them in that toughest division, although they have Baltimore and Toronto, but they still have Boston, Tampa Bay, and New York. That's 3 tough teams as opposed to, say, Cleveland only having to fend off 1.
That's correct. You're correct. There are 3 good teams in the AL East. The Rays are plucky, though. They're getting a little better.
Yeah, they are.
But 3 good teams in the AL East, 2 good teams in the AL Central.
And obviously Houston's going to win the West. Who do you have to watch out for wild card-wise?
I think the Athletics, because they did it last year, and they are a second-half team under Melvin, and they know what it takes. So I think they will play well in the second half, and they're dangerous.
All right, that'll do it for us. We'll throw D-Man out of here so he can get some rest and conserve his strength.
I might just go sleep over there.
All right, well, you're back with us.
I'll bug you and Bud tomorrow.
Yeah, you're back with us a week from Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be too long. I'll miss you guys.
Excellent. All right, the D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff. You can follow him on WTAM. Bud Shaw from WKYC.com will join us tomorrow. We'll have the results of the Home Run Derby. Well, we'll have it long before that, but that's what we'll talk about. And, of course, the All-Star Game and the Indians stretch drive in the second half of the season. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.